Hey, it's Greg. I'm going to try something new this year. So it's hard to believe, but it's been 5 years since I started my consulting business. And every year I send out a little, things I learned during the course of the year. And this year I thought, in addition to the letter that I wrote, I'd actually just tell you too, in case you don't want to read, because some people say, "Oh gosh, Greg, I love your stuff, but it's so long that I have to set it aside and read it." Well, you can just watch this video, and I'll try to keep this short. Every year, I go through and I pick out a few learnings, and if you can see me looking to the side, I'm actually looking at my letter. If I pick a few learnings, and they've included things like the how companies define consulting, how consultants define consulting, the importance of distance in relationships, and power in relationships, being able to use everyday stories to get points across, the market value of predictable revenue stream, and this year I'm going to tell you, give you my 3 lessons, but I'm going to do it in 3 different stories. So the first story is this year I was called in to do a board workshop. And in this board workshop, I had done one for them the year before. And so when I got the call back from the assistant saying, hey, they want to have you back in and they want you to run them through some more exercises, I got pretty excited because she also said they loved you and they want to have you back. So I'm like, oh, they love me. So what did they love? And I'm thinking of all the things I went through because I spent a lot of time trying to come up with great stories. I had a China story. I had a couple different frameworks that they were working through. And I'm like, what is it exactly that they loved most about last year? And I'm waiting to hear something about, my 3 main points that, for effective board communication. And she said, well, all they really said was that you finished on time. So there you go. So there goes my ego, right? Ego being built up. Here's all the great things I did. And in the end, it was something as simple as recognizing that they were running behind schedule and getting them back on target. So I've said time and time again, people don't remember technique as much as they remember intent, right? Your intent counts more than your technique. And in the end, that lesson came back to me this year in a couple different ways, but that story especially. For number 2, I've been trying to stay away from lead generation projects. So when I first started, I took on lead generation projects because they were easy, quick money. So the more I've tried to get away from them, the more I get pulled into them. So I was brought in to do one. And as we went through it, we went through the assessment. This is, where are you today? Where do you want to be tomorrow? What's the value of the difference? How will we know we're making progress? Walking through all of those pieces. And, as I put together the proposal, we agreed on a dollar amount and a time frame. And it was going to take, I was like, probably 4 months, and then you never know. Sometimes these projects take longer. So up to 6 months. Well, as things went, as we dug into the project and started working with their people, things turned around really quickly. And it happens every once in a while, right? It's you get lucky. And so inside of the first 6 weeks, we were able to generate 2 super high quality, not just leads, but sales opportunities that they were able to convert quickly. And part of that is the market was ready, right, for this. And so we got it together. Everything else came about, but I basically was done within 6 weeks. Inside of the next 6 weeks, I got a call from the firm partner asking when I was going to be in town again. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm not going to be back in town. But as I carefully danced around that, what is it that you were thinking? It became clear that he was not happy with the fact that it took so little time to actually get the job done. Right? There was a more value, even though we had talked about outcomes, more value was placed on the outputs than the outcomes. And so that was really lesson 2, is that for as much as everybody says that they're interested in results, we still value effort a lot, and we probably overvalue effort. So that's the big lesson. I don't know if that's like leftover from a factory mindset or something. You got to put in, a hard day's work or earn your pay for the day or whatever it is. But that mindset still exists out there, even though we've been advocating, and I thought we were moving further and further away from it. It's still out there. So that's lesson number 2. Number 3 is my future self. If you've been around me, you've heard me talk about Greg 3.0, right? There's Greg 1.0, which was before I met Laura and had kids. Greg 2.0, family and career. And then Greg 3.0 is what are you going to do now that everybody's leaving and you're all by yourself? And Greg 3.0 involves fly fishing. So as soon as I announce that to the universe, I start getting all sorts of fly fishing gear. Well, with all that fly fishing gear, I decided to go ahead and do fly fishing. By the way, I don't know anything about fly fishing. I've gone like 3 times on vacation as part of like a day tour with family members. So it's not like I don't even really know how to fish. Anyways, I heard about this wonderful place up in northeastern Iowa that has these great trout streams, and they're not very crowded. So I didn't have to worry about people being there. And as a matter of fact, I chose a Monday and went, and there was nobody there but me. And so I got out there, and I got to tell you, it's exactly as I imagined. So crystal clear streams, it's like another part of the world up there. It's called the Driftless region, and you should look it up if you haven't. But it's right in the middle, right? It's 4.5 hours away from me. It's right in the middle of where these glaciers came through, and these beautiful streams run through there. And so I'm out there not knowing exactly what I'm doing, and I'm struggling to get fish. As I work my way up the river, trying to remember everything I had learned, trying to stay out of the trees and catch fish. I can see fish coming up to my fly, but they're not biting. So I'm trying whatever I can to get them to, because I can literally see it. So it's the most fun I've had in a long time. Finally, a fish comes up, grabs the fly, and dives like down under. And so I'm in about waist deep of water. But what I had done is I had taken it was kind of a warm day, so I had taken my waders, and to look cool, I had rolled them down. I didn't wear them all the way up to my chest. And so I had rolled them down to my waist. So as I'm trying to work my way out into the middle of this river to free this fish, I thought there was a fish on the line. Well, it turns out there wasn't a fish on the line. But as I got there, I felt this cold sensation running down my feet, and I had gone in over my waist, and water was gushing in to my pants. So I had to quickly free myself and then work my way over to the shore, the whole time thinking, this is it, right? This is how it ends. And so I throw my rod up on the shore, and I'm trying to claw myself and pull myself up. I'm not a small guy. And in addition to that, I had, God knows how many pounds of water in my waders. And so I pull myself up, finally make it to the shore, right? Safe and sound, obviously. I'm still here today. And then dump everything out, because I'm just out in the middle of nature all by myself. And here it is. The lesson is this: when I think back on my year, or on any other particular year, I remember experiences way more than I remember cashing checks or buying cool things, right? So invest in experiences, right? That would be my big lesson. And I learned that every year, but somehow I need to keep teaching myself that. But then the bonus lesson is, the only way to get better at something is to try, right? I already know what I'll do differently next time I go fly fishing. And so I'll never be the trout whisperer, but I can sit on a bank and soaking wet and pull out a paperback and read along with the best of them. So those are my 3 lessons for the year. So people don't remember tactics as much as they remember technique, they don't remember your technique as much as they remember your intent. We overvalue effort, focus on results. And the last thing is, the only way to get better at something is to try. So year 5 was a good year for me. Some of my stats: I finished my first commercially published book, which, so that's 50,000 words. That's at the publisher. They tell me that it's in production, whatever that means. I did 80 free writing sessions. And what those are a technique I learned from my friend Mark Levy, for freeing your mind, for trying to release those inner ideas on those. And so that's really where the book came from. I did 8 book proposal revisions. So getting the book actually to the point where somebody accepted it was a lot harder than I expected it to be. I did 52 weekly Right Fit newsletters, and I encourage you to sign up for those. They're fun and they're quick reads, and like most people say, it's it reminds me that it's Friday afternoon, I need to go home. I did 32 blog articles, and the most popular one was, why do companies hire consultants, my list of reasons why. I'd love to know who is actually, why it's being clicked on so much. It could be the picture. It could be that people actually, it's probably consultants wondering why people hire them. I did 6 teleseminars, and I have another one of those coming up. I did 1 amalgamate booklet. The second one I wasn't happy with, and I ended up trashing it. I co-wrote a book with my friend Bill Matern. I did 4 coaching engagements, and those are just one-on-one where we literally do this. We just talk about what somebody is trying to get accomplished, and I help them do that faster. And then I got 8 mentions in the press. So I was quoted 8 times near the end of the year. When I was working on the book, I didn't do as much of that, but I do need to get with my friend Dan Janel at PR Leads. He's the one that helped with that, and I need to do more of it. So I've just add all that to my last 5 years' results, and when I tried to put a dollar figure on it as to what kind of value am I generating, and I'm north of 10 million. So my approach isn't for everyone. I also am learning that, but it does work. So if you're willing to put up with me, the results do happen. So tell your favorite growing business that we should talk. And that's it. So reminders, these are my calls to action on it. Get my short weekly newsletter in your inbox every Friday. Sign up for the right fit on the website, chamberspivot.com. Register for my next teleseminar. The next one I'm doing is getting new clients, demystifying the initial conversation in professional services. About that, how do I transition into a sales conversation. Pre-register for my new book, The Human Being's Guide to Business Growth, a simple process for unleashing the power of your people for growth. It's going to be published by BEP in January, February, they said. And I'll have a bunch of giveaways around that, so you can sign up for it right now. And and then sign up for one of my 6-month advisory programs. We just do everything in 6-month chunks, and if you think you're interested in that, give me a call. So that's it. I don't know if this was any easier or any shorter than actually just reading the newsletter, but who knows unless you try new things. I'll talk to you next year.